Tightrope deals with balance. I had not heard another artist, really speak about the importance of balance. And as an artist and as a woman just living in this world, you can really drive yourself crazy if you are not balanced. I think it's important that we don't get too high and we don't get too low over any one given thing, whether that's praises or just, critics. You have to remain balanced. You have to stay on that tightrope.
Boy, Tightrope, man. Tightrope it really comes down. The first time we played Tightrope, the first time we ever had the music to Tightrope was at Afro Punk. And we played it at Afro Punk. And it's one of those songs that doesn't necessarily feel so punk, but it felt punk at the time. It felt very Afro Punk. I mean, it really just gets down to, Afro Punk sometimes can mean just like what you think Africans are doing in their punkest moments. And this has to do with that freedom that Afro Punk just has to do with freedom a lot, and this song had a lot to do with just freedom. And we just only thing we had at the time, the song began with just the bass and the drums, and it just had those tribal drums and that James Brown kind of bass. It's just like walking around like just funky, and that was the root of the song. The horns came in later, and we did that was amazing. Working with Horns Unlimited has been a dream of mine for a while, so to work with them was amazing. But and then we had the One Lark Orchestra with the strings and everybody. That was really fun. But the meat of it was that bass and that drum. And then when Jane got on there and started doing her, when she started channeling JB and it started being James Brown, it just turned into a whole different thing. The first thing, before we had any lyrics, before anything was written, the first thing she did was that, "Whoa, another day!" And that was the thing that... That's where the song began. That's the first recording on that song.
Tightrope is one of my favorite Nate Wonder bass lines, and if not my favorite, one of the most favorite ones that I have. As a piece of music, yeah, I mean, as a piece of music, I think it's just one of his consummate pieces of music in terms of production. And I was thinking the other day that sometimes you can go to a short story by a writer and you can say, oh, this is the one you should read. You don't have to read a novel, just read this short story. I think this is an amazing short story by Nate Wonder in terms of the production, in terms of bringing together all the elements that really make a Nate Wonder song a Nate Wonder song. You've got the richness of the strings, so you've got the classical thing happening. You've got the drums and the bass just really acting a fool. And then you've got the vocals and the melodies and so many different layers there. And then we tried to hold down what we could on the vocal side and on the lyric side. So I think it really kind of came together in a really, really rich way.
Tip on alligators and little rattlesnakers, because I'm another flavor, something like a Terminator. Ain't no equivocating. I fight for what I believe. Those lyrics just inspire the inner confidence for people to stay funky and stay on the scene.
Those lyrics. So yeah, it was Robo Zine at the beginning. It was talking about this crazy dude, like back to the Stevie Wonder kind of vibe, and it had gone, gone, gone. Oh man, it had so many good lines in it. And then the Tightrope melodies came like months later after we'd already committed to Robo Zine, but it was kind of too conceptual, and we knew the song was jamming and it was danceable, and so we wanted it to be more of a dance song. And then the Tightrope came out of nowhere, really. It just was like one of those, you dream about it and just kind of comes to you like, oh, that's what this song is about.
And we follow the law of the jam throughout. So if we felt that wasn't going to help the jam, we'll say, well, the graphic novel will tell you more about that, or the film will tell you more about that. We're not going to sacrifice the jam just to tell about how Cindy did this or Anthony's going through that. So this is a song where we could have learned something about Robozillionaires and what they meant, but we decided to pull back and learn more really about what it means to be a person walking for freedom and trying to stay balanced, which is an arc-android thing. We talk a lot about how this album is allowing you to own your superpowers and become the arc-android in your own communities and to remain balanced, what that means. It's a Barack Obama kind of Zen thing you need to have. And so this is what she's telling everyone, to be that arc-android in your community. Oh, you're going to have to stay balanced, because it's going to say a lot of things about you. No, don't get too high, don't get too low, stay on that tightrope. And after we kind of figured out where the theme was, we were able to move outward from there. We also learned a lot from Saul Williams. His album, Saul Williams, we learned a lot about delivery, but he was playing with everything from 50 Cent-like deliveries to all these different things. So it made us really brave in terms of deliveries. If Janelle Monáe is going to do something and it's going to be hip-hop, what kind of things is she going to say? How is she going to approach it? Of course, we learned so much from James Brown, staying on the scene. There was a version of the song that was so James Brown, we decided we had to, bring it back because it was so James Brown. I mean, she sounded like like exactly like James Brown, and she was cutting up.
The happy birthdays at the end of Tightrope actually they were recorded on July 16th. I know that because it was George 2.0's birthday, and he wasn't there, and we actually were singing, coming up with melodies for Tightrope, and we called him up to sing happy birthday to him. It was late that night, just turned his birthday, and we started singing happy birthday to the melodies of Tightrope, and it was just amazing. So the happy birthdays on Tightrope actually are us singing happy birthday to George 2.0 on his birthday.